Welcome everybody, Brent, Godfist, Earnest here with a brand new deck tech video up ready for you to view. It's been a minute since I posted a video, pretty late on a new MTG video, so I decided to do another deck tech. This time we're going to go into a Minotaur deck. Now we all know that Minotaurs are the Greek mythology mix between man and bull. They're fierce warriors and a common tribal staple in the Magic the Gathering deck building community. I'm sure all of us have built a Minotaur deck of their own, so it's a pretty common deck to see as far as like just usually anybody has one, but like any experienced MTG player. So today I'm just gonna go ahead and show you my rendition of a Minotaur tribal deck. Now, this isn't necessarily a perfect Minotaur tribal deck. This is just what I have already built. I'm sure there's in many ways that this could be improved. So if you see this deck and you see something that you would change, that you would like to see different with the deck, or you personally would just do different with the deck, or maybe you have a Minotaur deck of your own that you would like to talk about, feel free to let me know in the comments below and make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe for that Magic Origins giveaway. Thank you, everybody. This has been Brent, Godfist, Earnest, and I'll see you in the next one. Guys, let's get started with this Minotaur tribal deck. It's obviously, as you can tell, red and black. And let's go ahead and get the boring stuff out of the way. I'm running 9 basic red lands, I think 11 swamps, and then just a single multi-land, a Bloodfell Caves. It's just a gain land, nothing too special. And then I always run at least 1 or 2 of the Evolving Wilds, because who doesn't run Evolving Wilds? It's just like a free reset. Almost. If you get a bad, deck shuffle, this is your chance to switch it. So let's go ahead and start with the red cards. I'm running 3 Minotaur Skull Cleavers. 2 in a red, whenever it enters the battlefield, it gets +2 until the turn, has haste. So basically means if you attack with it right away, it'll be a 4/2. Got 3 of those. And I'm running 3 Deathbellow Raiders, 1 and a red Deathbellow Raider attacks each turn of Able, and its ability, you can pay 2 and a black and then regenerate it. So this is basically just works really well just because it's a red-black deck anyway. And it's a 2/3. 2 copies of Fanatic Amogus, 3 in a red. When Fanatic Amogus enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to your devotion of red. So it's a 4/2 for 4. And it does damage equal to my devotion of red. So if I have a bunch of my red Minotaurs out, then it's going to do a bunch of damage, including with him. I have a single copy of a Rage Blood Shaman, 1 and 2 red, trample. Other Minotaur creatures I control gain +1/+1, and I have trample. Well, not I have trample, but my creatures have trample. So basically gives all my Minotaurs a boost and gives them trample. So just basically allows my Minotaurs to run over the enemy. As classic with any red deck, you have burn spells. So I have 2 copies of a Magma Spray, deals 2 damage. And if they would to a creature, and if it would die that turn, it would exile it instead of just destroying it. 2 copies of Messenger Speed, just in case anything I have that any Minotaur that I play that doesn't have haste or doesn't have trample. Throw this out there real quick and make sure they can fly, or not fly, but attack immediately and trample over my enemies. Spite of Mogus, 1. If it run red, so whenever it comes into play, whenever I cast it, it deals damage to the target creature equal to the number of instant sorcery cards in my graveyard. So basically, just like, a little graveyard damage hate, and I get a Scry 1. It kind of just fit flavor-wise with Fanatic and Mogus specifically, so it kind of just went with the theme of the thing. My god actually is not Mogus, God of Slaughter. I chose to use Perforos, God of the Forge. Mogus is probably a better choice in my opinion, but I never pulled a Mogus, and this is what I had on me. A lot of you already know that whenever I do make decks, they're usually just made with stuff that I have. Eventually, maybe I'll upgrade this deck and make it better and get a Mogus and use it better, because really what this does is almost the same thing as Mogus, but instead of every upkeep, it does 2 damage unless it's opponent sacrifices a creature. It does 2 damage every time I place another creature enters the battlefield. So what that means is anytime a creature enters the battlefield, it does 2 damage to each opponent. And, there's that trusty, 2 in a red ability, and creatures I control get +1/+0 at the end of turn. I love Perforos. And for more flavor, an Ordeal of Perforos. So it's just basically a enchantment that ultimately makes one of my creatures a 3, +3/+3 with it. and then at 1 second, and it does 3 damage to a creature. Archetype of Aggression. This is just kind of like a substitute for the Minotaur that I have earlier. I can't remember what it's called. I think it was the Shaman. It just basically gives all my creatures trample, and it makes all the opponents lose trample. Everybody knows what the archetypes do. And, again, what's a red deck without a burn spell? Single lightning strike. I think I just threw it in there because I needed a spell to throw in there. The only real consistent thing about the black side of the cards is just like the overtime Minotaurs itself. Other than that, I think kind of the spells I have, I kind of randomly threw them together, kind of a few buffs and all that. So let's get started with black. I'm running 2 copies of Fellhide Brawler, 1 into black. Can't block unless I control another Minotaur, so a little bit of, it's a turn 2 Minotaur, and so I don't expect a lot of it. I mean, I wish there was a turn 1 Minotaur, but they're Minotaurs. They're supposed to be a little bit stronger than smaller creatures, so of course there's not really. I don't think I've ever seen a turn 1 Minotaur. Maybe 1 or 2. I don't know. But yep, 2 copies of Fellhide Brawler. It's a 2/2 for 2. 3 copies of Fellhide Minotaur, 2 in a black, and it doesn't have any special abilities. It's just a 3-drop, 2/3 Minotaur. I run 3 of those, and I have a shiny foil one because who doesn't like a foil? 2 copies of Hero's Downfall, just because it's this great removal. Basically, most of this is like a Theros one. Most of these cards are from the Theros block, so obviously this is if the most recent formats you could play this in would be Modern, Legacy, or just Casual. Everything I do is usually just meant for Casual. So yeah, 2 copies of Hero's Downfall. We all know what this does. Destroy target creature, Planeswalker. Good Planeswalker hate. I Fellhide Petrifier. 2 in black. Death Touch, and other creatures I control gain Death Touch. So it's basically synergy just to make sure I can clear my opponent's field of all creatures, so I could run over in some way, shape, or form. I'll have something that gets through to my enemy's life points. My next card would be a Whip of Erebos. Creatures I control have lifelink. Everyone knows I love lifelink. I love gaining life. So this card just kind of fit to my taste. You might as well, if I'm doing good damage with Minotaurs, I might as well have something that gives me my life back. Because one thing I know about aggro decks like these is that sometimes you get screwed and you won't have creatures out and you're already taking damage, a good amount of damage before you start getting going. So Whip of Erebos. 2 copies of Crippling Blight. This is just another way to screw my opponent in terms of either taking out a small, weenie creature or just making it to where it can't block and it's just not as damaging. So again, there's more spells to make it to where spells and abilities that I can make it to where my Minotaurs can get through to the enemy side. Scourge Mark. I think I'm just running. Yeah, I'm running 1 copy of Scourge Mark. This is just a 2-drop boost that allows me to get draw a card and just gives one of my Minotaurs +1/+0. Lash of the Whip. Turn 5, -4/-4 target creature. So it's basically a good, decent creature removal spell because most creatures on the field that you'll see are going to be less than 4 toughness to begin with. So and most of the time this will kill most of the creatures you might end up dealing with around turn 5. Sometimes not. Sometimes you never know. I just thought it was a pretty good card to use. Faraka's Cure, 2 black. Faraka's Cure deals 2 damage to target creature and I gain 2 life. So basically, life gain and destruction and removal of a creature. A small wheel of weenie creature. So one of those emergency kind of things. Like if I'm really low in life or something, just throw it. Play that, gain a couple life. Ordeal of Erebos. I love myself a good ordeal. We all know what ordeals do, but this one does where once I sack it, target player discards 2 cards. And then Cast in the Darkness just does exactly the same thing as, Crippling Blight, except it does more negatives to the power instead of the toughness. So 2-drop enchant creature gets -2, -0, and it cannot block. So basically, again, getting through to my opponent's life total and killing them off. And last but not least, our gold cards. I'm running 3 copies of Ragemonger. This is a great card for a Minotaur deck, especially black-red Minotaur decks. It just makes him cost a whole lot less, so you can get them out on more the turn 2 Minotaurs out on turn 1, turn 3 Minotaurs out on turn 2. If I can, or well, by the time I could play this, it's already turn 3 and able to play this. So ignore what I just said. Basically, just means I can get more Minotaurs out faster, as fast as possible. And then my last gold card is a Kragma Warcaller. Again, if I had Ragemonger out, this would just basically make him a 3-drop instead of a 5-drop. All my Minotaurs have haste, and whenever a Minotaur I control attacks, it gets +2/+0 to the end of turn, and it's a 2/3. Love this I think this was the inspiration of making a Minotaur deck. Anyway, guys, that is my deck tech for the day. Thank you very much for watching. Godfist out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.